basketball is fun. I love basketball. It's been part of my whole life. And been in professional sports for 44 straight years. And I've had a lot of ups and downs and fun and sad losses. And, today is not a great day. I wish we would have, finished the year on a much better note. But I think that Brad, he was born for this. This is a great day for the Celtics. And I think this is actually a big step forward.
I've got a good idea of what we do and don't do well, and what can accentuate some of our, best players. And so there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work ahead. That said, we are in a good place. My number one thing is for the good of the Celtics. I love the Celtics. I want to do what's best for the Celtics. I really have enjoyed coaching, but this is the new challenge, and this is what we need to do. The good news about whoever we hire, they don't have to fill Doc Rivers' shoes like I did, and they don't have to fill Danny Ainge's shoes now like I do. They just have to figure out a way to be better than the last guy.
So for the Celtics, Danny Ainge stepping down, as you saw. You have Brad Stevens coming in, going from the bench to the front office. And Zeke, I'm going to come to you first on this, number one, because you have the experience, because you've held every title in the NBA when it comes from ownership to front office. You've held every position. But let's just start talking with the Celtics. When you saw this, you saw Danny Ainge, someone you competed against, stepping down. What were your thoughts?
My first thought was I was kind of sad to see him go. Because he's been such an integral part of our league, and the Celtics have been a big part of the history of the NBA. And I can't remember a time when I looked in the Celtics organization and I didn't see a Celtic player running or coaching or doing something within the organization. This may be the first time, and, somebody can Google it and correct me because I'm not sure, but, the Celtics have always had, former players in positions, in charge. And what I mean by former players, I mean Celtics.
Right.
Not just anybody, it was Celtics. And this is going to be an interesting time to see what happens with this transition, because there's no Celtic that you can say, won championships, did this, can speak to it. This is the first time, I think, in the Celtics organization where they won't have a champion in place on the bench or upstairs that wore a Celtic uniform. So it's going to be an interesting time. That's the first thing I thought of.
Very interesting. Now we know Brad Stevens, 8 seasons there as the head coach, 7 playoff appearances, 3 trips to the conference finals, but no championship, as Zeke alluded to. Q Rich, I come to you. We see
those do matter.
They do.
Yeah, they count.
I know you mentioned that for a reason.
I know everybody into the analytics and stuff, but them championships, that's what we play for.
We know that, and especially they do mean something in Boston because they don't hang up any other banners, no division title. No, they only hang up championship banners and the players that retire. So with that being said, Q Rich, you have Brad Stevens who goes from the bench, being the coach, not necessarily any experience in the front office. How do you think that transition is going to go? We saw Danny Ainge do that going from coach to the front office. What do you think is going to happen with Boston?
I honestly don't know. I mean, we'll see. I'll be watching just like everybody else. But, I mean, I'm still in line with just amazed that he got a chance to go from that seat to that seat. That was a baller, boss move in my mind. But I wish him the best. And, I mean, we'll see. I don't know how he'll do because I've only seen him as a coach at, obviously Butler and now here with the Celtics. But, I mean, we'll see.
Well, I think the other interesting thing would be how do the players respond?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, those are the guys who go out to win the game. And I remember Coach Q is like, hey, look, I can only do so much from the bench. Like, y'all got to win the game. And the players are the ones who go out and win the game. Now, you had a coach now who has moved from the locker room now to the front office. And now when you go to the front office, you definitely have some feelings about some of the players you just coach, whether they can play, whether you like them, if they don't. And by the way, those players have some feelings about the coach who just left and went to the front. So it'd be interesting to see the trades, who re-signs in Boston, and who start asking for trades.
Yeah.
Q, you saw this up close and personal, going from a player, then going to work in Detroit in the front office. What are some of the hurdles that can potentially happen for Coach Stevens going into the front office?
Just like what Zeke said, man, he has relationships with all of these guys, good, bad, or whatever they are. He has them, and he's taking those with him into that front office, and he has a job to do. And he's a human being, so you know what I'm saying, how it is. If you don't like somebody, you might not want to keep him around. And now he's sliding into a position where he has the power to do something about that. So, and the same thing, like you said, the players, we as players look at him like, you know, if there were players on that Boston team who didn't like him as a coach, you wanted to see him go. They happy that he's not the coach, but they like, dang, he just went over there. Like, now he could really do some damage to me. So they probably even more unhappy or nervous or talking to their agent like, yo, man, we got to, you know, whatever it may be. So those are all situations that I'm sure that are happening right now.